It's 5 o'clock and time for the December 14th, 2023 meeting of the Natchitoches Parish School Board. Board members and visitors, please silence your cell phones and electronic devices as to not to interrupt the meeting. And thanks for that cooperation in advance. Ms. Reba Phelps, will you do the invocation?
Yes, I will.
And Ms. Leila Harvey, do the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we thank you for this board and this room of public servants. We thank you for blessing our meeting. We thank you for the wonderful school year that we've had so far. And we ask for your blessings during this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Ms. Revels, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Danzy?
Here.
Mr. Matuire? Mr. Benefiel?
Here.
Mr. Harris? Mrs. McGaskey? Here. Ms. Palmer? Ms. Phelps?
Here.
Ms. Harvey? Here. Mr. Fradu? Mr. Nicholson?
Here.
And Ms. Page? Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we get to the superintendent's report, we'd like to recognize a special visitor to our meeting and recognize the effort and the time and the contribution of her husband to the Natchitoches Parish school system and what he's done to help us get to where we are today. And Superintendent Eloy, would you do the honor?
Yes, sir.
And we would like to offer a resolution.
Resolution of the Natchitoches Parish School Board. A resolution to express the condolences of the Natchitoches Parish School Board upon the death of Mr. William K. Himes of Natchitoches. Whereas it was with deep regret and profound sorrow that the members of Natchitoches Parish School Board, as well as the teachers and staff of our school system, and especially our students, to have learned of the death of our friend and colleague, William K. Himes of Natchitoches on Saturday, November 11th, 2023. And whereas Mr. Himes had a long and productive career as an educator, principal, and band leader who had a great love and appreciation for music and music education. And whereas Mr. Himes was band director at Provençal School, NSU Middle Lab, and Natchitoches Junior High School. Mr. Himes was awarded Teacher of the Year. Mr. Himes served as assistant principal at Natchitoches Central High School and principal of Lakeview High School, and teaching and learning specialist in K-12 interests and opportunities. And whereas Mr. Himes was a member of Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia Music Fraternity, Louisiana Association of Educators, National Music Educators Association, and District 2 Band Directors Association. And whereas, in all areas of his career, Mr. Himes enriched students through a foundation of musical development. And whereas, Mr. Himes will be missed by his beloved work family at the Natchitoches Parish School Board, Natchitoches Central High School, and Lakeview High School. And therefore, be it resolved that the Natchitoches Parish School Board does hereby express sincere and heartfelt condolences upon the death of Mr. William K. Himes of Natchitoches, and does hereby extend enduring appreciation for the tremendous work this wonderful and gifted gentleman brought to our generations of students of Natchitoches Parish. Be it further resolved that a suitable copy of this resolution be transmitted to the family of William K. Himes and archived in the files of Natchitoches Parish School Board.
We have two Lakeview Gators in our midst, and I would like one of those to offer the motion to accept this resolution, and then the other to second it.
I'll offer.
I second.
Board members, all in favor of this resolution for Mr. Himes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Ms. Himes, can you come forward and accept the resolution? Thank you very much for attending tonight. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I just want to thank everybody for their kind words and your prayers and wonderful thoughts of Miles. I think he was an awesome person, and he gave with all of his heart, in his job and everything. So thank you for your words.
Thank you.
And your encouragement.
Thank you
Your
for
kind
coming.
thoughts.
Thank you for coming tonight.
So I humbly accept this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Nicholson and Ms. Phelps, thank y'all for sponsoring that resolution. Superintendent Eloy.
Yes, sir. So we have a few additions to the superintendent report, some things that occurred this past week. On Monday, I was in court with our election case that was presented by Mr. Poe, Mr. Dwayne Poe from Provençal. You have a copy of it here. The basic premise is that we were successful with that. The new election will occur properly on March 23rd. The Secretary of State took all the costs of that. It's at no cost to the board. Again, that's not a special election. That will occur March 23rd for the, I believe that's the presidential primary and then also municipal elections in some of the municipalities. So you have this here, and it's signed by Judge Dias, David Stamey, Joe Stamey, myself, Mr. Poe, and Mr. Charlton McGinley from the Secretary of State's office on behalf of Kyle Ardoin, the Secretary of State. So while I was in there, you're not allowed to have your phone, so upon exit, I saw I had probably 20 or 30 texts, phone calls, etc., because as many of you know, there was a bomb threat made against two of our schools. I do want to mention that the threat was not specific. The threat was made randomly to one of our employees about bombs being around where you work. Did not specifically say LP Vaughn or NJH, but where this person worked. That would include the grounds of NJH and LP Vaughn. We immediately, obviously, contacted police, moved the students outside. This is something that you have plans for, but you don't execute very often. So it was, new territory for a lot of people. I will say that it usually takes us an hour to get students dismissed every day from start to finish. That day, it only took us about an hour and 15 minutes to dismiss all the students. I want to let everyone know we have talked to police, and there's kind of some after-action discussion and some we want to do some tabletop exercises of how we could do this better if we ever have to again. And that information will inform not only the LP Vaughn and NJH faculties, but also other faculties. Before I get into some of that, I do want to mention that was everything perfect? No, it wasn't. But the staff of both schools, and specifically the administrations, and I have to single out Mr. Miller, who's an assistant principal. His principal was out sick that day. She never takes sick. And he was the head man, and you would have thought he had done this over and over again. The majority of the complaints that we received were due to parents not receiving a text message that we had sent out. They are 100% correct in that criticism. We did send out a text message, and what we looked at is several of the people who reached out and said, I didn't get it, we pulled them up on J Campus. All their information's in there. We are now in talks with J Campus and Apogee to see why these people who all their information is correctly put in the thing, they did everything they were supposed to, why they did not receive a text message. So those that we knew about who contacted us, we apologized and told them that it was some sort of technical glitch that we're still trying to figure out why that occurred and working through so it doesn't occur again. But we do apologize for that because obviously it's not enough to just see it on Facebook or hear about it from a friend. We wanted them to have that direct communication. 50% of them did, but obviously that's nowhere near where we want to be. Some things that we want to talk through with police. I think Ms. Page put it really well. She said they did their job, we did our job. Our job is to make sure kids are safe, and they had some concern about the fact that students were sent home because that causes a lot of logistical concerns. But for us, just to explain a little bit of our thinking, especially at LP Vaughn, by the time we were able to get there, students had already been outside for probably about a solid 30 minutes. By the time all police arrived, not just the initial response, it was, by the time everyone was there, probably about 45 minutes, something of that nature. And at that point, it was cold outside. Students were nearing lunchtime. They hadn't eaten. They also didn't have access to bathrooms. Some of them did not have winter coats. We knew they were going to be outside for at least another 2 hours by what the police were telling us based on what they would have to do to inspect the buildings. And so the call was made to release them because we would not be able to give them adequate facilities, keep them warm, or feed them. I've heard all sorts of input on what we could have done, and I'm taking all that as looking at how we can do this better. I think a lot of people don't fully understand the logistics that are involved in something of this nature, especially when it concerns LP Vaughn because of we have such young kids. I would give us a grade that day of a B, but we want to be an A, and there's definitely areas for improvement, and we're going to be talking with our stakeholders, especially law enforcement, of how we can improve that moving forward. But the B, I want to be clear, the staff gets an A. District, the things that can be improved, that's things we can work on and improve, and so the B is more for myself and what we can do moving forward. But overall, I do think students were kept safe, and that's the main thing. Last thing, we will be doing our exit interview on our audit next Thursday, and so they will be ready to present the audit findings to you in the January meeting. So I know those were three kind of different things, but real important things. Any questions about any of those things?
When something of that nature happens, I'm sure that they are.
Ms. McGaskey.
On the task force, on the task force, that assists with, the situation when a bomb threat occurs. And is just the local police, sheriff department, or state, or is the,
It depends on the situation. In this situation, I can tell you that it was the police, they have to go through all the protocols, obviously, and they have to treat it as if it's real. But the way it was done and the nature it was done, the immediate thought was this was probably not legitimate, but they did not have enough evidence at that point
have to act anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
if it is.
So they did all those things. At the point that they were searching the school, they were then able to see that this was sent from Ohio. And so there was a few things between going over the school top to bottom with their expertise, and then also finding out at the same time that this was out of Ohio. And you can obviously kind of look at the logistics of that probably not being reliable. They were able to clear the school and say it was safe. But that was at one point we probably had 50 officers there, and they were all going through the school. And then eventually, after they cleared it the first time, then they brought in teachers to go through their classrooms once it was safe to see if there was anything else. So, there was not a nook or a cranny that was not investigated. And we have been told that they are going to continue trying to find out who the individual was, and that we will be pressing full charges if we are given that opportunity to.
And that's a federal offense, correct?
I'm not totally up to date on it, but I believe you're correct.
Well, thank God for the efforts made.
It was not the normal Monday, so.
And thanks to all the staff, workers, and in administration for their response. It was a cool morning, and if any of you marched in an MLK march this January, some of these kids don't necessarily have the heaviest of coats, and they were out in that cold, and it was the right call and the right thing to do. So, okay. Ms. Phelps.
Thank you, President Benefield. As some of you will notice or have noticed, I was absent last Thursday, and I wanted to share with you, and thank you for excusing my absence, but I was attending the last board meeting of the Louisiana State School Board Association in which I serve. So I wanted to share with you some of the information that was shared during our board meeting. Of course, everyone knows the conference. The annual conference is March 10th through 12th. The host hotel is booked up, and it went very fast, so thank you for getting us in when you did, Ms. Kanika. The COSBA conference is in Dallas, Texas. It's February 23rd through 25th. They are a little concerned about attendance being low, being that it's so close to our own conference date. A lot of people won't be able to take off for both conferences. The LSBA website does have a link on their website where you can check your credit hours to see how much or how many hours you need for the rest of the year. I looked at mine today, and I panicked for a second, but I had to scroll down, and the rest of it was there. So panic is over. But be sure and check that out because it does take them about 2 weeks to get it updated. So you do want to check it to make sure that your hours are accounted for. The ethics training, the annual ethics training, of course, is due by December 31st. And one of the things we talked about and discussed was the fact that many school districts are moving to the Assembly platform. And one thing they wanted to note, especially for Natchitoches Parish, we are one of the few who are actually doing the work in revamping each and every page of that policy manual. So that was, it was great to be noticed for the hard work that's going on. I'm sure it'll continue for the rest of 2024, but it is being noticed that we are putting the work in to revamp every single page, consolidate, update, everything policy related. The other thing we talked about, the LSBA video contest, the submissions are due January the 16th, and I did send that link to Dr. Eloy to send to the high schools, and they're already on it, so they're already a step ahead of us, so that's great news. And board members, if you have any art teachers in your district, be sure and encourage and remind them about the LSBA art contest, in which their art will be displayed at our conference. And I know, I'm speaking for myself and many others, we love looking at the talented children statewide, so we'd love to have a winner this year. But the video contest, the theme of it is your community spirit for school athletics. So I'm very excited to see what we can come up with. And that's all I have, President Benfield.
Actually, that's not all you have, Ms. Phelps. You know, Ms. Phelps is our District 5 representative, and so how did she get to be that? She was recognized for her hard work, and that's an appointed position, is it not?
Yes,
It
it
is.
started out as appointed position, and then I ran for the position this past year. And it's a 2-year term, so I have served 1 more year, and then decide at that point if I want to run again, or maybe one of you would like to run and serve.
But that's the good thing, is Ms. Phelps been recognized for her leadership throughout the state. District artwork, it was great to have Natchitoches Parish represented for the first time in a while with district artwork. So
Yes.
thank you for bringing that up. When we meet as a whole at LSBA and we go through the training that we do, it's so important that we get the continuing education hours that number one is required by law, but number two, the things that all board members throughout the state hear. So we hear the same things and we know what's going on. We have a great executive director, Dr. Pope, who keeps us informed in what's going on in the legislature. And Ms. Phelps keeps us informed here locally. So it's a good 1-2 punch. Thank you for that update, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, can we consider the consent agenda?
I'll offer.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. McGuire and a offer by Mr. McGuire, second by Ms. McGaskey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay. I think we have one remaining report from Mr. Shirley.
Good evening, how are y'all?
Hello.
Good.
It was actually a pretty mild reporting last time. We have just a few major things that we had done. City and Sunstream had to install an entire transformer at the central warehouse due to the age. And that took us a couple of days and we were down for a little bit, but we're back up and going with that. Excuse me. The Lakeview locker rooms, is 99% done. They're still waiting on my pickup motor for their actual washer and dryer. All the lockers have been installed, the painting's been done, flooring. So everything but that motor that I'm waiting on has been done. I wasn't telling that yet. And we ordered some logos for the lockers. That I was trying to keep hush-hush, but thanks, Leifer. And the last thing that was really kind of a big issue is Marthaville. We kept having water intrusion in the old gym. Couldn't figure out why, and then we figured it out. Over the years, the soil had gotten so high on the side of the building that the slab was actually 18 inches deep underneath the soil that had got on the backside. So we had to have all that pulled away, graded back down to get the water away from the building so it didn't seep in through the bricks and get on top of the slab. So that's been a pretty extensive project. Other than that, it's just been some minor things. Any questions?
Y'all feel confident that the work was done there will prevent? any
It will.
further damage?
We're actually installing a drain. We're gonna do like a French drain style system. But after we got it graded down, we've had so much rain that we don't wanna get in there and fool with it just yet, cause we got some plumbing pipes we gotta move out of the way too.
Okay.
But yes, I'm pretty confident it's gonna help a lot. Now, we still have that one side in that parking lot where it comes down in the V, that it's still, it comes off that roof so fast that when it hits, it splashes up on the side, so we still got we need to put some gutter there, but once we get the gutter put up, I think we'll solve most of that problem. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Ms. Page, any updates? Okay. Mr. Wascom.
Okay, on the board, on the monitors, you see the budget for ending October 31st. It is about where I expected it to be. Payroll is a little higher because remember we did the MFP money check. That was that check that's included in this column. If you can see right here, that money's in this area right here, and in the benefits section. Overall, I'm happy with everything. Once again, don't worry about the revenue. The expenses and revenues will match up by the end of the year, as I always say. ESSER 2 funds were spent down here. This number will end up being, well, actually, I think that is the conclusion of that list. So that money will be concluded, and because that expired as of September 30th. ESSER 3 funds will expire next September. Are there any other questions with the budget? Okay, thank y'all very much.
Mr. Lee, you had an asterisk by the other. Was that a mistake on the sales tax? No changes?
Correct.
All right, no changes on the sales tax.
Thank you.
Correct. It was actually up for the people who weren't here last time. Sales taxes went up a bit, so that's nice. So that's a good.
Any questions on any of the informational reports? Okay. Ms. Tenkia?
Okay, finance, facilities, services, and insurance, 5A, declare listed tracts of school board property as surplus and to be sold for the appraised prices found on attachments.
You have in this area attachments. There's 17 pieces of property. They all look very, very much like this. Let it come on up. This was done by Michelle Jordan. Thank her. She did a lot. We have.
Need a motion.
Need a motion.
We need a motion.
Sorry.
Move.
Sorry.
I'll offer.
Second.
Have an offer by Mr. McGuire and a second by Mr. Danzy. So forge ahead, Mr. Lee.
Okay. All of these were done by Michelle Jordan. This is a requirement by state. In order to sell this property, we have to have it appraised. Most of these pieces of property are pretty small, scrap. They're 0.8 acres, 1.1 acres. The biggest one is the remainder at Clutcheville. That was it's 14.83 acres. It will go up it's appraised at $72,000.
Is it 14? I thought it was.
14.83. Remember, we took off a piece for the bus
Going on
turnaround.
the thing here, 18.
But
Earlier, unless I misread it.
supposed to be 14.83.
Which piece is it, Mill?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Which one is it? Because it don't.
It's
All
14 was
17
around the
pieces.
school. Wasn't 14 around the school? Is that what?
It's a portions of where the school sat and all the baseball fields and everything behind it as well. This is Campty building. There are still 6 more pieces of property. Once they get appraised, we'll be bringing to you.
Got file 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
You got a roster on a letter. Let's look it up.
Well, it's not on that letter because these are ones that were just added.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 5. There it is right here. It should be 14.83. Remember, Emil, we partitioned a piece.
Yeah, a piece out of it.
We took a piece out. It was around 17 acres. We took a couple of Okay, this right here is the property, $72,000, and you can see the acreage.
Yeah.
What the acreage,
Let's see here.
let's see the acreage. they say
14.83.
Where's that?
It says, if you look at the legal
Right
description,
here. Right here. You see-
14.83.
Can y'all see my mouse on this
Okay,
thing?
I was looking at where
It's
the,
right here.
okay, that must be the whole property, 18,
Yes.
3 acres, yeah, okay.
Remember, Emil, we partitioned a piece off for the bus turnaround.
The turnaround.
I was just making sure it, it was, right on that, cause I was looking at, a different diagram.
Correct.
Make sure where we wouldn't have advertising 14 and it was 18 acres. Yeah.
So we will be putting all these there's still about 5 more pieces of property to come, okay? But once again, we wanted to go ahead and get these out there, because it takes her so long to do these,
Now we are keeping all the mineral rights.
keeping all the mineral rights, correct?
And when she was researching, I know you say, that some of the property was landlocked. Did they show where it used to be, access to?
There is in some of our properties, there's some of the properties that never have had
Had
access.
that, okay.
It's just 2 random acres out in the middle of a field. I mean, it'll be a 1 acre and then a space and then another acre. And we have no idea how that happened, but that's just where it is.
I seen some of it, that's what I was just wondering if, when they was looking it up, if it was access to the property. 'Cause that's what I was just wondering with that, cause if it was access to the property, whoever would buy the property, they still would have that access to that property. The landowner can't stop you from going into it
Correct.
if it's registered in the clerk of court office.
Well, I will share with the board that my intention is to go to, in cases of landlock, is to go to the people who own the property that actually touch it now to see if they would be willing to buy it. Because those are actually small scraps of land, which are not valued at very much. But usually if it has road access, like blacktop road access, that's much more valuable, and that would be separate. But there's some cases out there where it's just out in the middle of a field, and all the timber, and it's just a little 1 acre worth of what looks to be cornfield. Looks like somebody was planting on it. So it's not like the properties weren't being used, but we actually put it in the hands of the people who were actually farming it.
Emil, if you look, keep scrolling down on that property, you'll see that photograph addendum. It says 18.3 acres, and that's where you're getting that information. Now, Lee, who's gonna be responsible for the surveys on this? Because that's gonna be a sizable cost. Because, we're carving out roughly 3.5, almost 4 acres out of this.
The survey, we already paid Davis for, are you talking about the survey to subdivide, the Clucheville property? We've already paid to have that done.
Okay, good. So
It's already been filed, had to be signed off on before I could give this to,
that's great.
it did not cost that much money. It was it was Davis Surveying who did that for us.
Want to make sure that, because we don't need any snags. If someone is willing to,
No, I did that almost a year ago.
right,
That was right when, and we actually put the 4 corners where we wanted the bus turnaround to be,
that's good.
and then he surveyed to those moments.
That's this piece. The rest of it has all been surveyed too?
No, I did not survey. I didn't pay to survey any of that property. I was just gonna sell it in as-is condition where it was. If it requires surveying, I'm gonna put that on the landlord. We don't have much money. If we paid the survey and paid for the appraisal, we don't have much money left off.
That was my question.
No, I wasn't gonna pay to survey any of this stuff. I was gonna be the owners. The owner was just
So
gonna
the
pay.
owner that buys it is gonna.
It's gonna have to be on
Gonna
them.
take our word for it and say,
Well, sir.
3 steps to the right and 17 to the left.
Well, you can see this stuff is marked. It is tagged. I mean, it is tagged. I wasn't gonna pay for surveying the rest of the property.
Because some of
Yeah, I
it
know,
would be
I
worth
know,
it.
but some of these in the middle of that field, who knows? Not here. This is pretty well marked. But he had it surveyed. Okay.
With the Clucheville property, I think it's gonna go more than, I might be wrong, but I've had like 4 different people ask about the property. So, they might just asking, so I think it's gonna probably go more than what is,
We're gonna list it for more than what y'all see here. We'll list it for more. And there are some that have some rooftops on them already, which people have built barns on our property. We're gonna go to those property owners and try to clear that up, which I recommended we do, Nate. So, but
I'm looking at the survey down below it too, but I was just talking about the other properties. This one's pretty clear.
yeah.
Okay.
Clucheville one, yeah.
Yeah, this is the survey we did. As you see here, it says 2 tracts of land. And you'll see this tract B right here. This is the piece we partitioned off for the bus turnaround. We also put up lights. So this time of the year, when the children are transferring bus to bus, it's all well lit up, okay? And we also use the rubble that they ground up from the school as the gravel that compacts in there. So it's about 6 inches thick worth of what they call it? It's,
Aggregate.
huh?
It's like an aggregate.
Reclaim.
It's aggregate. It's a road aggregate that they ground up, and it came from the old school. Anyhow, this was done for us, and it says right here, for an Axbury School Board.
Okay.
And it was, I don't know, the date, it was almost exactly a year ago today.
Any questions for Mr. Wascom? Ms. Revels, can we have a roll call vote?
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Motwire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, sorry. 5B. Okay. Out-of-state travel for our NIET conference.
Gotcha.
All off.
Second.
Have an offer by Ms. Palmer and a second by Ms. Phelps. Did you get a head count on those people, Ms. Palmer?
I did not.
Okay.
Look like 50 though.
It's a good ballpark.
32.
You wanna go? I'm gonna
32
go
on the
last.
list.
Okay. All right, we're spending a little money here, but it comes from the grant. Let's do a roll call vote, Ms. Revels.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Motwire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Ms. Palmer.
Oh, that concludes finance.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Mr. Danzy.
Item 7A, discuss and consider approving the 2024 board meeting calendar.
Okay,
Would make a motion that we accept calendar B.
I'll second.
That's the Tuesday, yeah, that was the Tuesday B.
Tuesday. Okay, discussion. You got a motion by Mr. McTwire, second by Ms. Barbara Page.
My discussion is thanks.
I like Thursday, but most of the board members saying they was wanting Tuesday, so that's why I go with Tuesday.
Now, do we want to include that discussion that we had, and I think we should, of one meeting a month?
No.
I personally would like one more year under my belt before I considered that. I don't
Okay.
feel like I'm all
I agree.
out there yet.
I agree, and I think too, for myself personally, didn't think about this before, Mr. Benefield, but with travel with work, it's, if we went down to one meeting a month, there are possibilities where meetings could be missed, where with the 2 meetings a month, I feel like there's more chance, right? That we won't have to miss a meeting at that point.
Any other discussion on a one meeting a month and then breakout committees? Okay. Let's burrow down into the discussion with Mr. Mills' offer, calendar B. The upside and downside, anyone see? And by the way, do these dates look good for you? We know January is gonna be Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah.
And we've already discussed that.
And then November, we'll have to decide which way we're gonna do, because the 5th will be the election.
Yeah.
So we,
Also in July, we only put one meeting down? Because you have
I
July.
got 2
There's
minutes.
got
two
two.
for
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
This B became a C.
Yep.
If you look at option B, November, the date chosen is actually that following week, the 12th. Because Election Day is on that,
Yeah.
on the 5th.
Do we
Presidential
wanna do
election.
12 and 19?
Well-
Or Tuesday, Thursday? Well, no, Thursday be Valentine's Day. We make all these ladies mad.
In November?
Are you talking about
Oh,
November?
no, I'm thinking it's Valentine. I'm thinking of February. I'm looking up at February. Yeah.
You move those holidays
Moving too
around.
low, quick, whichever.
What did we do this year when we moved it? Did we move it a whole week, or did we move it to the week?
We can do, depending on what we're doing, LSBA or whatever, we can do anything we want.
There was a month where you guys chose, I think we did have to move a Thursday meeting, so, a Tuesday meeting. So we had it that Thursday, which would be November 7th, and which would be the committee meeting. And then have the voting meeting that following Tuesday.
Yeah, you remember the progression was last year, we were meeting twice on the same week. And so we pushed it back a week, which I think has given us a lot more time to get information, and the staff doesn't have to be as rushed, and I think it's a pretty good deal. So I guess the next progression is to move it from Thursdays, which seemed to be a hang-up for some, to Tuesdays. So the only thing would be this November date. And we could move that from Thursday, Tuesday, if that's okay with y'all. The 7th to the 12th.
So we can wait till we get closer to see.
Well,
you know.
because if we push it back anymore, we're probably gonna get into Thanksgiving.
My only question on the July one, and it may not be an issue for most people, but that first week of July, the 4th, is a week that a lot of people do take vacation.
We're gonna have to move that one.
I think that one might.
We're gonna have to move that one. Yeah, there's a lot of people take off that whole week.
Like the 9th and the 16th instead
Yeah,
of the second.
something like
night.
that, yeah.
And
Let's go ahead and include that. Is everyone okay with the 9th and the 16th in July?
that's fine.
Okay, is everybody okay with March 12th? That'll be the last day of the LSBA conference.
We're gonna have to move that one, Mr. Phelps.
Well, it ends at 12 o'clock.
It does.
We made it this past year.
Yeah, we sure did.
I got a speeding ticket.
wait.
Oh,
Going down though, right?
No, coming back.
Yeah, but she's got a decompression meeting. They've got to, at the very end, they've got to, what worked well, what didn't. So,
or you could move
I
it,
can totally adjust my thing. That's no big deal.
I mean, you could move it to the 14th.
We could
Yeah, we
move it to the
could.
14th if you'd like.
make it available there for Ms. Phelps to make it. Okay. Now, we don't have a holiday around there.
Yeah, the 15th.
Just the 15th, but I think that's parent-teacher conference. That's parent-teacher conference. There's no
okay.
school that day.
All right. So the 14th is clear. Okay.
So move March 12th to the 14th.
Is everybody okay with that?
That's fine.
So the ones circled in red are parent-teacher conference days?
They're different dates. They're dates that the schools are closed for one reason or another.
So we moved March, we moved July.
In November, we're gonna wait on, but we could go ahead and do it now if you wanted to, the 7th and 12th, if you wanna do it like that.
7 and 12.
7
Yeah,
and
'cause if
12.
you push it back another week, you get into Valentine's.
Yeah, so you think like me.
You get into Thanksgiving.
Get into Thanksgiving, though.
Yeah. All right. So everybody locked in?
Thanksgiving won't be till the 28th.
Fourth Thursday. Fourth Thursday.
It'll be the 28th. That's when Thanksgiving will be 28th.
Sure is. So, y'all wanna leave it on 7th? You wanna move it 12th and 19th? What do you wanna do?
The 7th is my birthday. Y'all can all bring me a gift. This November 7th.
7. Want to do 12 and 19th?
That's fine with me. Everybody okay with that?
12 and 19?
Yeah, it'll be on
Okay.
Tuesday.
12 and 19, okay. We have Ms. Revels to remind us of all our changes.
I'll have a clear calendar presented and on the website.
Remember
I'll
now,
get it to
Valentine's
China.
Day is in November now.
Yeah, no, no. Yeah, look at that February.
Okay, All in favor of Mr. McGuire's motion, calendar B with the changes specified that we talked about, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, we have a calendar.
Can we be sure and send that to the sheriff's department too? I know we've had a little,
Hiccups, yeah, that's not a bad idea. All right. Okay, Mr. Dent, you want to skip that next item? And we've already,
Yes,
we've
that's-
already voted on C. We took it.
Yes, we did see, so we have, item 7B, and, we will clear the,
Need a motion
I will make the motion
to go in
to
executive.
go into executive session for superintendent's evaluation.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Danzy and a second by Mr. Nicholson to enter into an executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in executive session.